meeting is being recorded.
So, Tanza. So,
hello guys, welcome to YouTube channel. Today we're talking about a different topic. We'll talk about why the things that happen in Kenya are not that quite unique in terms of maybe the elections.
and
And
politics.
if you like, and politics, yeah. If you
Yeah.
like our content, please like and subscribe. We'll keep putting out more content like this. So Josh, you can tell us, you can introduce us to the topic.
So today we're gonna focus on politics, especially Kenyan politics, and we're gonna see how what's happening to Kenya is not that unique, or like it's not like a first-time thing, especially during the election. And our focus is gonna be on how this election has been very different from other elections, especially since we've only voted since 1990, 92, 97, 2002, 2007, 2013, and 2017, and now. So that comes to show that also, like our democracy is very, very young. So it's easy for us to think that we're already there, but we are not there yet. This election has been very interesting because we've been having I'd say it's more of like an old guard, era coming to an end, like the people who started.
What do you mean by old guard era?
I can look at the people who started the founding fathers of Kenya, the Jomo Kenyatta, Ogiga Odinga, and the rest, So some of the people who were young then are still very influential, but their era is somehow, there's a generational change. So as you can see, like when Jomo Kenyatta died, Ogiga Odinga, their son took over. So, when their children took over, you can't say so much has changed because, you're almost similar to how your parents have, or someone who brought you things. So their style of leadership might be different because of you're at a different time, but the mentality might be the same. And now here comes another faction led by the deputy president that sees that calls itself a new generation that's different. They believe that their parents weren't founding fathers; they came from nothing. Which and the deputy president tries to align himself with the new kind of generation, and we can look at very simple ways of how things were going down especially during the campaign. If you could see the two campaign strategy, you could see the deputy president campaign strategy and former Prime Minister Raila strategy. You could tell there was some generational kind of difference. The deputy president was very appealing to young generation. You remember even he had his own song, the Missy Pangwingwi song, he was, the MPs that surround him were a bit youthful. And even when you see the advertisement, how UDA was advertising or marketing itself through those campaign slogans, it was more of like trying to appeal to guys who are technology savvy, Facebook, through Instagram. But you could tell there was a difference between the advertisement of UDA and Azimio. The Azimio were appealing to the Azimio. Their main, if you could see, their main way of marketing was like, we are the ones who have experience. We know how to govern a country, and like even though we've been brought up in a system of so-called dynasty, we are we understand better how politics of running a country are done and how to relate to the international. Don't forget that Raila Odinga, Uhuru Kenyatta, the Azimio crowd are very, they've been in the game for so long, so they have a lot of connections internationally. So they were appealing to to that kind of, they were marketing themselves as the guys who understand how to govern Kenya. They know how
Yeah.
to relate themselves, and
Yeah.
they know how to carry themselves as professional. And while the UDA were being seen as very young, a bit not too experienced in doing things, um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they don't understand how to manage a country, and it's too early for them to try and think of uh, managing the resources of a country.
Okay.
So I would say it's not by accident that we are here, because every time, when things happen similar so much, people sometimes get a bit tired. So I remember we were talking a while back, like 3-4 years ago, 3-4 years ago, and we were already saying that the deputy president Ruto might have a higher percentage of winning, because Kenya was heading to a breaking point politically,
Yeah.
Yeah. And you remember you were saying that someone who was born in the year 2000 is now at the age of voting by 2022. So to him, he doesn't have that mental attachment of him and
The old.
and the with the old guard. So to him or her, they they
It doesn't make sense. They're not part of it. They're part of something else, that because if you look at, there's a time we spoke to some older generation guys, and they were like, these times are very different. Like, there's no connection between us and them, their time and our time. Because their time, in the 1990s, that was when things were different. Up to around, like up to now, things are different. But that time, they were 5 years old, maybe they weren't born. And at that time, you find that people nowadays people at that time followed politics a lot because of, there was no internet and everything. But now, the fact that there's internet, there's a disconnect between the young generation and politics, because they're not being exposed to it in a certain way, like people were exposed to it in the past. Because, right now, if you go to YouTube, you can just watch anything you want. You don't have to follow news all the time, because in that time, you just had to follow news because that was the only thing that was there. So people don't know the importance of, like you're talking about, the way it's important to follow up on what's going on in your country. And that's not something that people do as much nowadays, because of the information on demand, whereby I can just decide to be watching maybe sports every single day and just follow sports and not follow politics. Because even personally, I don't even have a television or even a cable connection to watch news or anything. So I just watch news whenever it's whenever something like a presidential election is happening, but not every day. So I think the disconnect that you're talking about, people who are born in 2000, there are people who right now, they do not care about whatever the politics of Kenya represented since it began. Those are people who care about maybe progress. That's Generation Z. Is it Generation Z?
Yeah, and it
They
can
care
also be
about.
seen when sorry for cutting you out, but it can also be seen in the voter turnout. You see, not a lot of people turned out to vote, so that also shows there is a big.
Actually, a lot of young people.
Yeah, a lot of young people didn't show up. So it shows there's a big disconnect, even from the guys who are ruling the country. They seem to be out of touch from the majority, which are the youth, and that is also a risk, because now if the youth are not engaged in development and in positive politics, we don't know, anyone can lead the country. If you're not engaged seriously, then the country can be led with people who are not qualified, and that's also a very big risk. I think the youth don't understand how politics is very important to life. You can't separate politics.
Yeah, you can't separate. Because if something happens, maybe let's say we're in an election, maybe in 2027, let's say the voter turnout is even lower and lower, because most young people do not follow up on politics and everything.
Mhm.
You know, something can happen and people elect the wrong people in office. You know, when that starts to happen, people can maybe mismanage. You know, you can't always blame the government, but if the youth are not involved in participating in this in the political, you know, political economical structure through like maybe participating in finding out what the government is doing,
Mhm.
the government might be in a position where they cannot be allowed to just do anything.
Mhm.
Because if you look at, I don't know, this maybe some laws have been changed and everything, and people don't know. You know,
Yeah,
like that law for potatoes. You know, no one knows
yeah, how
that
it's gonna operate.
that you
And
have to
and
have a license
and you know the funny thing
to
is
grow.
that you know, you ask someone why they're not participating in politics, they're just saying like, let me go and make money. You know, for me,
Yeah,
money is fundamental, but they don't understand you're making money because the country is politically stable.
so, yeah,
And
the country is
and
politically
it's
stable.
politically run for the guys who are running it are running it good so that you can make money. So if you say
Yeah,
I'm not going to participate probably in voting or in doing a political activity that
yeah, yeah,
you know will put people accountable, checks and balances,
yeah,
and you're focused
yeah.
on money, that's a lie, because for you to make money there must be
The
political,
government is
yeah,
the one.
and
The
and, and
government is the one that's creating the ecosystem.
yeah,
So if you
exactly.
if you don't participate in politics, let's just call it participating in politics, the government will end up doing things that can hurt your ability to participate economically, like make money, start companies.
Yeah.
There's a time Kenya was voted the worst place to invest because people are just ignoring the government. What's
Yeah.
happening? No one is following up. Even like for me, it's a bad thing because the fact I don't watch news is not a good thing because I don't know what these guys are doing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's not being communicated properly enough for people to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And there are not enough communicators who can come and say this is what's happening. Because the other than the guys on Twitter who post threads, I don't think people are really participating in trying to find out why, how comes Kenya is not moving
Mm.
like
And if
at a
even if the youth and the people are participating, they're also participating for the wrong reason. They're participating to make money. So now it
yeah.
becomes not an agenda-driven kind of politics. It becomes more of an enterprise. You know, like I
Yeah.
just enter there and I make myself so rich, and I don't care about
Yeah.
anyone else. So that's
Yeah.
I'd say the fundamental, because we keep my issue is we keep blaming you know, other powers like China, America,
Yeah.
Europe,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day we can't keep playing the
The
blame
blame
card.
game.
Yeah, we need to take responsibility, because right now as we wanted to vote, like it's not the Chinese who voted for this election or
It
how
was
it's
us.
voting. Yeah, it's us who
Yeah.
take. Yeah, it's also
You know,
allowed give them contracts and everything. So we can't be always saying there are people who are bent on, you know, the boogeyman. We live by the boogeyman theory. You
yeah.
know, there's someone
Yeah.
who's
Yeah.
bent
The
on
boogeyman
making
theory.
me.
Yeah.
If it's not colonization, you know, like countries
The
were.
war in Ukraine, if it's not that, it's the economy, the global economy, the
It's
recession.
COVID. You
There's
know,
always
we
something.
have so many
There's
excuses
always, yeah.
as not
There's
even
always
as
an excuse.
As Africans, we have so many excuses that don't seem
They don't make
uh,
sense.
seem to end.
Yeah, even something as simple as African timing, we just blame it on being African. You know,
Mm.
African timing is coming
And
late
people are
every,
proud of it, you know.
and people are proud of wasting time. And that's
Yeah.
the kind of mentality we have as Africans, whereby we don't really want to care about the difficult things. We just want to care about the easy things: waking
Mhm.
up, eating, meeting up with friends, and having fun. But when it comes to participating economically, making the hard decisions, like for example, you find that in Europe they made the hard decisions. There's this country we spoke about. They invested about 1 trillion from oil,
Yeah,
and they
you know,
invested in
Norway, like,
yeah,
because
and
if
they
you look,
invested in companies
yeah,
like Tesla, Apple, Microsoft. That was a hard decision because
yeah,
the easiest way would have been to split the money and
to
everyone
split the
gets the
money
money.
and
But they
everybody
made the
gets
hard decision,
something.
which will affect them in the next
Mm.
200, 300 years.
300 years.
And us, we don't think about, we just think about the next election, you know, that's
Yeah.
just 5 years. But we haven't reached that point where we want to participate economically and politically for us to start making decisions about our children's children. And that's something I've never seen.
And you know, it's interesting
I've never
because
seen
if
people.
you look at Norway and Norway and Nigeria, Nigeria has one of the best, you know, Nigeria, according to oil, quality of oil, Nigeria produces one of the best qualities of oil. But
Yeah, yeah.
and it has more oil than Nigeria. But you see, Norway made money from oil, invested in Google, in Apple,
Yeah,
and now I think
yeah.
the money they invested is worth over $1 trillion.
Yeah, it makes them a couple of, I think, was it
And
20,
if they
50
divide
billion
that
a year?
money, we saw if they divide that money to each individual of that country, it's 20 million. It's more than 20 million Kenya shillings per person.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
If they divide it, yeah.
if they
And you find that in because of the particular reason that young people do not participate politically and follow politically, you find that a country like Nigeria, their leadership is so poor that all that oil that they harvested, they mined and harvested, it hasn't really helped Nigeria. Because if you look at online, Nigeria is it's not the country you want to be in right now. Things are hard there. But if you go to countries like rich oil countries like Dubai and Middle East, and then you look at other countries in Europe that have produced oil, they're very well off because everyone is keeping people accountable.
Everyone is playing their part.
Yeah,
Seriously.
because we can't keep on saying that these people have protected themselves with, like, they put themselves in powerful positions. You can't reach them. We can actually reach them, because if people participating in an election can have an effect on the whole country, why do we always have to wait to participate in an election to make a difference? Can we be participating in other, like after elections, can we now start participating in, you know, what did the government promise us, the current government? Can we start now holding people accountable? Because honestly, me, I don't know if there's any way I can hold anyone accountable. I don't know any way, any method in Kenya whereby if someone does something wrong, they can be held accountable. Yeah, so those are the things that people, like, personally, our generation, we do not look at anything like that. As we just look at, I want to open up a business, make money. You know, it doesn't matter what the government does.
And
Because
that,
even infrastructure, we don't hold anyone accountable.
and you know, one
There's
thing that people are forgetting is that the development of the country is not, it's infrastructure. No one refuses, but the development of a country is how your people live. If your people are not living comfortable, you cannot say you are developed. Because if you look, the most developed country are not America. They are, you know, they are the Norways, the Finland, you know, because as long as people are not sleeping hungry, there's healthcare is cheap. You know,
it's
if
not
your
even
people are not
about
comfortable, you can't just make roads and everything, and then you start saying
it's not even about like
we
country
are
having
developed.
riches or anything.
Yeah,
It's like you said, it's the family. How does the family live in that country?
yeah.
Because there are countries in Europe that are very small, they just do agriculture and they're very comfortable.
And if you look like a country like Cuba, Cuba is sanctioned by America since the Cuban crisis, the Cuban Missile Crisis, and Cuba has one of the best healthcare system, even better than America, and America is just a neighbor. So if you look at that index, you can't say really that America is, but if you look at the GDP, the military power, the infrastructure, America is developed, but how are their people living? If you go to Cuba, it's a different kind of, you know, they might be poor. So people are confusing
that
infrastructure with, they just think development is infrastructure, but the basic principle of development is how good are your people living.
Yeah, how good are your people living? And if you look at many countries, maybe, you know, we don't usually know much about countries like Egypt and maybe these countries that we don't know, because I don't understand why we already know that people invest in infrastructure because they want to, for example, the main highway, according to the professor, was it Devin D? He was saying that the highway was built for certain people in Kenya so that they can have an easier
diplomats.
access, for diplomats and everything. But the rest of us, you know, we're not even bothered or worried, or we know what's happening, but no one is moving forward to come and say, hey, this will happen, this happened. Can we talk about it? You know, can you open the conversation? What can we do so that the infrastructure can be completed and everyone can
and you know, you can't keep on blaming China is giving us money, but because someone has to borrow. China just doesn't come and give guys money. You know, there has to be the other person. You know, it's so when people keep saying like, China is doing us bad, it's keep on borrowing. China are willing to give anyone money. Yeah, because they're in that superpower competition with America. So they have to be, they also have their own goals. Our Chinese goal is by 2045 to be the most advanced country in the world. So how do they reach that? They have to, to control all the infrastructures in the world, the technology. So we can't blame them for having those decisions. Because even if us, we are that advanced, we could have done the same. And you can easily see, even Kenya, which is the most dominant economy in East Africa. It's trying to control Somalia, with the issue with the borderline of the ocean. So even Kenya, even though it's not a big superpower, it's an East African, superpower. It's also playing its own politics. So we can't blame the Chinese for lending out money and building infrastructure, because they also have their vision, and their vision doesn't have to align with our vision. Because them, they have their interest.
And I think the only person to blame, it's not the government or anyone, it's just ourselves. Because even the government itself, there's only so much it can do, because it can't do everything. Why are people refusing to go to college? Why are people refusing to do specialized courses? How comes people are coming? Okay, why is everyone just there's like a trend that's happening whereby people are not really interested in
but don't you feel like Africa, we are like this because we are always comparing ourselves with the Western countries, which are very developed, and they've taken thousands of years. If you look like a country like Britain, which has one of the oldest constitutions, it's a 1,000-year-old kingdom. So, and because of social media, we expect ourselves to be like them, and also that's a bit
immediately by tomorrow.
And also that's another issue, because it is also bringing pressure to the political class. Because even the political class now, they find themselves that they have to keep on, how can I say?
I
making
understand.
us happy,
like making that highway, making that.
Because you can see, like, someone like let's say President Uhuru, probably he's under pressure every time to always, he can't satisfy people enough, because at the end of the day, if you're a small developing democracy, corruption has to happen. We can't. We can't.
Sorry, there's noise. Okay.
I'm saying, if you're a small developing country, corruption has to happen. We can't get away with that. But at the end of the day, you find that probably, the fact that social media, people are putting so much pressure on the government. Probably even that's why even the government is borrowing. Okay, there's corruption, but that's why always the government is borrowing money to make infrastructure. There is that pressure of catching up with, with developed countries. And we must, these developed countries also developed because they had colonies. Us, we don't have colonies. So we can't catch up with guys who already had investments of colonies. Half of Africa speaks English, the other half speaks French.
You find that most young people, okay, I know young people are doing farming, but most young people, especially, I always wonder, why do young people come from countryside areas to fill up Nairobi? It's because even them, they've been fed that narrative of city life is the best life. And if you look at Kenya, we're not even, things like farming haven't even been done well enough to sustain a certain amount of demand. And you always ask these guys, why did you come from maybe countryside to come to Nairobi? Because, Nairobi, it's easier to make money. And then if you look at how they're living in Nairobi, they are really struggling. There's a lot of alcohol and drug use. And it's because of the stress of, like you said, social media is making people believe that life is easier when you are somewhere, but really it's not about it's not about coming to somewhere where you think life is easiest. I think it's about being aware of what's going on so that you can make a guided decision. Because right now, the people coming to Nairobi all the time, it's a lot, and jobs are few. Like, even getting just a basic job and living a basic life is very difficult.
And everyone is
Because
no,
people are
sorry.
not, like, no one is educated about. I don't feel like Kenyans are really educated that much.
Okay.
I think that Kenya, we just live
I feel we're
on
informed,
just general.
not informed.
Yeah,
There's
we
a
are not
difference
informed
between.
at all.
I feel like we're informed. There's a difference between
Yeah, but we're not
informed.
educated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that could also be another issue.
yeah,
But
yeah.
my take is that the fact we are so competing with guys who have, like have head starts.
We are competing with people who had a head start.
Yeah,
Okay, the things we are going through now, they went through at a certain point in
yeah.
in the uh, in the life cycle of their country. Because
Mm-hmm.
us, whatever we are going through is just a lot of unguided decisions. People are not making guided decisions at all.
Mm-hmm.
People are just doing things. You wake up and then you do whatever you want to do, and then
The,
there's no. 'Cause if you look at how
mm-hmm.
a country like Europeans, the way they do stuff, and how uh, Americans do stuff, and how Chinese do their things,
Mm-hmm.
they make very guided decisions. They don't rush, and they always consult professionals. They always consult
Mm-hmm.
people who are qualified to advise them. But here, even if someone is qualified, they won't be taken seriously. And
Mm-hmm.
that brings us to that, that story of some guys get pure mathematics degrees and they don't even get a chance to work even as a clerk in a normal company,
Mm-hmm.
because we do not value science, technology, mathematics,
Yeah.
engineering. We just value money and as money. We don't value how to make money, how to
Mm-hmm.
survive in the global economy. We just borrow money, we use it, we borrow money, use it, but it doesn't go to where it's supposed to be.
And
And that's, I think, why,
see, when you're saying that,
that's why I believe, yeah, that's why I believe people make unguided decisions.
even when you're saying that, one of the most fundamental things about reason why Jews, because I also have that chapter on the channel, reason why Jews are so very different and so advanced is because they believe in delayed gratification. So a Jewish
Yeah,
person can, let's say if he's studying engineer, he can, or something like a skill, he can literally give up 15 years of his life,
yeah, yeah,
like to be the
yeah, yeah.
underdog, to
Be there.
no
Yeah,
money,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
but immediately
yeah,
he finishes, or he gets to, like, boss mode level, he's set for life. So one thing I
yeah,
saw, like, Jews always believe in delayed gratification, and that's something I think as Africans we should also aspire to look at, something in about
yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm not here
As you
painting
have,
that, because I'm also an African, I also have my own weaknesses, because
yeah, yeah,
I'm been brought up in an African environment. So that's something I
yeah,
came to notice, that Jews are very, very focused on delayed gratification. That's why you can see that
yeah,
we are like a lottery system mindset. The way Ndi was
yeah. We
saying,
have a lot of regrets.
yeah, like nini kwachua, like kwachua mindset. You get it, you don't get it. That's why you can see someone who has pure mathematics in Kenya is doing kawash, and pure mathematics, you should be working in NASA,
Even just in Kenya,
Tesla
pure
and
mathematics
stuff.
person should be working in somewhere like insurance,
Yeah,
banking, should be working in economics.
in the economic,
That's the person who should be
uh,
making decisions on how to invest in companies, how
yeah.
to acquire companies and
Mm-hmm.
invest. Because if you look at, we don't have that, and then even us as Africans, we're very selfish because we're not willing to invest in things like companies and give companies money to
Mm-hmm.
grow. But we're very quick to invest in, sherehe, invest in
Yeah.
going to Nakuru for a whole month, or
Mm-hmm.
going for vacation. But you're not very keen on investing in companies because, as you said, we are not educated. We are just informed because you think uh, we don't even know how to build wealth. We just know
Mm-hmm.
I just come with this idea, I make money, and then I exit. We don't know how to build wealth. So there's a lot of holes in the economy. There's a lot of holes even in information.
Mm-hmm.
people are just not that interested, because it even said most young people,
Even the
they're
Nini,
interested in the hustle, but guided decisions,
guided decision.
building wealth,
Even when you look at the
knowing business, knowing laws.
even when you look at the Shark Tank and the Kenyan one was called
Lansden.
Yeah, Lion's Den. That's what I'm saying. We're always trying to play catch up with the white guys, with the white person.
And,
You see, we copied exactly, but ours is not exactly as Shark Tank. Shark Tank is so efficient.
And like, Shark Tank, it's the money. Shark Tank, it's the money.
But here you see even guys with good projects, they still ask so many.
Banks money.
They are still asked the same questions of interview experience. The same question. Like.
If they're allowed to,
question you asked when you go to an interview, it's the same kind of system.
Yeah. You'd be asked, what did you get in primary? And you're like 24 years old.
Yeah, like,
but
even
in primary will still affect you getting a job.
Yeah.
But it just means that us as Kenyans, we do not have any information about how to do things. We just do things, we sit, monkey see, monkey do type of situation. Because here we really, really, really do not value.
I was even seeing something online saying that, now President of the Republic of Kenya is written in initials, it's pork.
Yeah.
Pork for pork, pork. President of the Republic of Kenya. The American president is written President POTUS.
POTUS, yeah. So he just copied it.
Yeah, so he was saying so the guy was saying that today he has confirmed Kenya is a knockoff USA, because we are used to, even as we've started now referring to,
we used to copy paste.
Yeah, like
because even if you look at the startup culture in Nairobi, it's just, if you look at the apps people are building and getting money for, they're not something we need to talk about in one of our talks. Like the apps people are making in Kenya.
Let's continue.
Yeah, let's continue in the next section.